May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please be seated.
Good morning, sir.
Are you vaccinated
Yes, sir.
fully?
Yes, sir.
No symptoms of COVID, I believe?
No, sir.
You may remove your mask.
Thank you, sir.
Priyamvada,
Yes, sir.
please introduce yourself to the board, highlighting your educational qualification and work experience, if any.
Yes, sir. Sir, my name is Priyamvada Ashok Mhaddalkar. I am from Mumbai. I have studied electronics engineering from VJTI in Mumbai. Later, I pursued MBA from IIM Bangalore. I have 6 years of work experience in the financial services sector, during which I worked with 3 investment banks in India. I left my job in July 2020 to pursue civil services preparation.
Priyamvada, you are a very talented person, so to say. You acquired degree in engineering, you did your MBA, you worked in financial sector in the country, must have been getting a very handsome salary too. Why did you quit your job, leave all this in the past to pursue a career in civil services?
Sir, one thing I would like to share is, even when I was a 5-year-old in Ratnagiri, I used to often say that I want to become the collector. And this was largely inspired by my father, who was working in state government PSU, and he had a deep respect for IAS officers. Later, due to circumstances and other reasons, I pursued graduation in engineering and took up a job in finance. However, while I was working, I realized that while my monetary needs were satisfied, I was looking for a sense of fulfillment. And that is the reason when I decided to go back to my childhood dream, I was also inspired by the stories we see on social media, where a lot of, like on Better India platform, where the work of IAS officers is highlighted. And that made me, so basically giving this exam is just a small attempt on my part to make my life meaningful.
Priyamvada, tell me, you are a qualified person, as I said at the very outset. How are you going to use the knowledge or experience you have acquired in the civil services?
Sir, I have gathered knowledge through all the education that I have pursued. Engineering has taught me problem solving and has made me a solution seeker, whereas management taught me decision making, efficient utilization of financial resources, and my work experience particularly has enhanced these skills, made me a thorough professional, and also made me realize the importance of change and how you have to think innovatively, constantly, to achieve excellence. And these are the skills that I would like to use.
Priyamvada, today is Panchayati Raj Day. Are you aware of?
Yes, sir.
So, how do Panchayati Raj institutions help in rural development of the country?
Yes, sir. The Panchayati Raj institutions are encourage the grassroots level democracy. And since these are the closest to the rural areas, they are the first point which realize what are the problems and are the best placed to find solutions locally and implement those.
So, Panchayati Raj institutions came into existence in 1990s itself, isn't it? So much water has flown down the river since then. Do you think that Panchayati Raj institutions have served the purpose for which these institutions were created?
Sir, I understand that there is still a reluctance on the part of politicians to completely devolve power to the Panchayati Raj system. However, there has been significant progress which has been done, and particularly in areas like rainwater harvesting, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, the implementation of these schemes. I feel Panchayati Raj has definitely helped our country in better governance.
There has been a reservation for women in the Panchayati Raj institutions, and the purpose was basically for the economic welfare of women was number one. Number two was participation of women in public life and empowerment of women as individuals. Do you think we have, what progress we have made in the direction of empowerment of women as individuals?
Sir, just a clarification, this is with regard to
Panchayati Raj institutions.
Yes, sir. So, definitely women have come to the forefront and are running villages successfully. Also, we see that a phenomenon named Sarpanch Pati, where women are just a proxy, where their husband, while the husband runs the show. However, I feel that even that exposure is a step towards women empowerment. And once a woman learns how the administration works and is given a leadership position, once she understands the problems of the society, I'm sure she is able to find better solutions and implement those.
I hope, Priyamvada, once you get into the Indian Administrative Service, you will be passionate in working this area of activity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Priyamvada Ashok. Priyamvada, do you find any similarity with Priyadarshi Ashok?
Sorry, sir.
Priyadarshi Ashok?
Sorry, sir. I'm not aware.
Do you have any idea about the Mauryan Dynasty?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there was a great king, Ashoka the Great.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of him?
Yes, sir.
He is also known as Priyadarshi, that is in Pali, and Priyadarshi Ashok.
I recollect now that I have
yes.
studied Devanam Piya Priyadarshi in some of the inscriptions.
Now you can you compare your personality with that of Ashoka the Great?
Ashoka the Great was known for his administration, and the unique aspect of his administration, that though he built a strong empire, he did not resort to violence, and that is something that I admire and would like to also use in administration.
It was said that he killed his 99 brothers in order to gain the throne. Do you have any idea about that?
Sorry, sir, I was not aware of this.
You are not aware of?
I had read about the
yeah.
reformation in him after the Kalinga War.
Okay, because his life is characterized through three important journeys as such. It is from Chand Ashok, when he killed 99 brothers, then to your Kam Ashok, when he was involved in the life of pleasure, and Dham Ashok. So Dham Ashok, that is what you are trying to highlight. So that is Ashoka. Priyamvada, Ashoka was the first ruler in India to have interacted with citizens of his empire, or people of his empire, through some means. Do you have any idea about that?
Sir, I'm aware of the rock edicts, the pillar edicts that Ashoka installed in different places in his empire.
Do you remember any important message which he...
Sir, so he spread the message of Dhamma, and some of them included non-violence, and that no animals should be harmed. And sir, I'm not able to recollect.
Okay, no problem. Priyamvada, who were Aryans?
Aryans were people who entered the Indian subcontinent after...
Now, what is the meaning of Aryan? Is it a racial term or a linguistic term?
I am not 100%.
Because you have done, you are interested in languages, you have done German level, Spanish level, okay? Do you have any idea about Indo-European languages?
Sir, I have a vague idea, and
okay.
Indo-European languages, English is one of the...
So many languages are there, and generally now it is being highlighted that Indo-European languages originated from India. Have you heard of this?
No, sir.
You have not heard of this. Okay, coming to German and Spanish language, there is one major difference between the two. What is that? Something related to pronunciation and spelling and writing.
So German language has a few alphabets which are different, like the U umlaut. But by and large, German language is pronounced the way it is written, whereas the
That's
Spanish
good.
language has a certain accents on some of the alphabets. So the pronunciation changes accordingly.
That's very good. Okay. You have opted for sociology. Huh? Do you have any idea about two traditions? One is great tradition, another is little tradition. Do you think that both these traditions played a very important role in bringing changes in the society, Indian society.
Yes, sir. So, great tradition refers to the tradition which is followed on a major scale, for example, at a national level, whereas the little traditions are the ones which are followed by, examples would be folk practices, festivals, music, and both the traditions are important for maintaining the culture and propagating the culture through generations. And
there are two more terms to explain great and little tradition. One is universalization and that is parochialization. Do you have any idea about?
Sir, when a little tradition becomes a part of the great tradition, it is called as universalization. Whereas when a practice of the great tradition is also followed, starts getting followed at a local level, it's called as parochialization.
Okay, and how many OBC categories in Maharashtra?
Sorry, sir, I don't know the exact.
A last question. That is, you have studied from Veer Mata Jijabai. Why Jijabai is known as Veer Mata?
Sir, Jijabai played a very instrumental role in the upbringing of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and taught him the fundamentals of administration. She herself used to administer the Pune Jagir while Shivaji was growing up, and played a major role in him becoming.
What is the difference between Chauth and Sardes Mukhi?
These were the two taxes which were.
Just difference.
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recollect.
Thank you, thank you.
Priyamvada,
yes.
You just said that you are thinking about to become district collector since your childhood,
yes,
right? After being a district collector, what will be your priorities for women empowerment?
Sir, the biggest priority will be education, ensuring that the participation in schools, girl participation in schools is higher, and also enabling them to go for higher education where we currently find lags, so that they can become financially independent and explore their full potential.
How administration will be benefited to have electrical engineer like you?
Sir, I am an electronics engineer.
Okay, electricals and electronics. Only electronics.
Only electronics, sir. Sir, I believe that engineering in general teaches you problem solving, and it makes you a solution seeker, and that will help me in administration, in finding areas where I can implement some solutions. And also with the current focus on automation, I believe that this knowledge will be useful for implementing different digital India schemes and ensuring a smooth functioning of the administration.
Okay. Can you suggest some models of e-governance which could be useful for women empowerment?
So one that is immediately coming to mind is how we have the dial-in number system, where whenever there is any event of eve teasing, where women can immediately reach out to the local police stations, and a she force is implemented in some districts in India. That is how governance can be improved.
You worked at the highest hierarchy for various banks, as I have just seen in your DAF. Do you believe that the banks are under threat because the emergence of the many kind of mobile payment gateway like Google Pay and all? You know that they are granting a loan at the lowest price or lowest rate. What is your take on that?
Yes, sir. So banks are definitely feeling the competition, but they are also a healthy competition ensures that banks also work towards improving their internal systems, so that the turnaround time for loans decreases, and there is more emphasis on customer service, and also financial inclusion in general is increasing thanks to all the new payment systems that are coming up.
You already organized many activity of like CSR, right? What is CSR, Priyamvada?
CSR is a corporate social responsibility, a program whereby companies in general follow processes of self-regulation and work on aspects of social improvement, environment improvement, and other aspects. So overall, leaving a good impact on the society.
And what's the difference between corporate governance and CSR?
Corporate governance are holistically the overall practices that a company follows, not necessarily impacting just the environment and the surrounding around them, but also internally. For example, having a separate position for chairman and managing director, having a board of having diverse representation, so that there is no concentration of power in a particular person. So,
can you tell me something, the role and importance of independent director in the board of directors for better CSR or better corporate governance?
Sir, independent directors, because they come with diverse backgrounds, help in CSR implementation, because they are aware of different best practices which are followed in different companies, and also their personal experiences helped in better implementation of the CSR policies.
What could be the expected role of whistleblowers in a company for corporate governance?
Whistleblowers help to highlight lacunae and any malpractices which are being followed in a company. And many companies now are making provisions for whistle protection, so that employees in general are free to highlight any discrepancies that they see.
Can you tell me something about the Uday Kotak Mahindra committee reports for independent directors or CSR, better corporate governance?
I'm sorry, sir.
No issue. Your optionally sociology, right? What's the role of superego for the enhancement of moral personality? Have you heard about the id, ego, superego concept, called socialization model?
Sorry, sir. I'm not able to recollect.
Okay. What is society, Priyamvada?
Society is a collection of people in their and their social relations, the social structure, and the order in the way they function.
Society per se could be ethical?
Yes, sir.
In what ways?
Sir, because of the value system that is propagated through socialization from a parent to a child. In that way, we have an overall sense of what is right and wrong, and that is what makes a society ethical.
Okay. What's the role of society for inculcation of human values?
Yes, sir. So, socialization is a primary way in which human values are inculcated, and society in general has a way of. I'm sorry, sir. So, a good quality is generally promoted or appreciated, whereas any bad act is condemned, and in that way value systems are propagated.
Good, sir.
Yes, Priyamvada. Priyamvada, you have the experience of working in a corporate sector also?
Yes, sir.
Recently we have seen the institutions, something like NSCs and their chairmen, they have not been found like up to the mark of those code of ethics. So is that like the lack of you can say the transparency and the working culture in the corporate sector which makes them vulnerable and not following those corporate governance?
Sir, I believe that there are provisions in place for regulating the corporate sector. However, there are one-off cases which get highlighted, like the NSE case, where due to perhaps the intense competition, there are certain missteps taken at the higher level. But we have sufficient systems in place. We just need a proper, a stricter implementation and immediate highlighting. Many times what happens is the issue is highlighted after many years. So the malpractice gets blown out of proportion by the time it is highlighted.
Right, I understand. You yourself must be aware of, like in India, more than 44 million cases are pending in Indian judiciaries, across the courts, and more than 70,000 cases pending in Supreme Court itself. The kind of the system which is needed for overhauling of the judiciary at the same time, what kind of the proposals that comes into your mind and put forward?
Sir, one of the proposals is a focus on digitization. Using ICT in courts is something that can be done. Secondly, the way the cases are allocated, there could be a faster system, and these are the two.
All right, not an issue. Priyamvada, you are a student of sociology and comes from Maharashtra, and maybe you may be having some interest in mythological stories.
Not much, sir.
Not much. So if we like go by some mythological stories and the present culture of the rape, it does, you can say, take the clue from those mythological stories. You might have heard of like this particular person or like renowned person has taken that women in mythological stories, and not only Indian mythologies but Greco-Roman mythologies. They do suggest in form of punishing the women as part of their possession, or punishing women or other ways. So don't you think so? Since like we Indians, as part of your sociological studies, they do derive this kind of the instinct from their mythological stories and many other sources. Do they perpetuate? My question is that these kind of stories, do they perpetuate this violations of the women's right in general?
Sir, I believe that while in some instances there could be stories which are very different from what we would expect living in a society today and are shocking to us. However, we are also known as a country that venerates women and Indian goddesses. We give a very important position to Indian goddesses. Goddess Durga, for example, is an epitome of power, and
that also could not prohibit the people to commit this kind of the crime.
Yes, sir. So I believe that what is needed is a proper socialization from a young age for children, where boys and girls are treated equally and boys are taught to respect women, irrespective of whether it is just your immediate family or any other woman.
Okay, extending this argument, my objective is to talk on cases of the marital rape. Marital rape is a kind of the things where the Indian state is not much comfortable. So Supreme Court has also asked upon the center's response over that. You, student of sociology, how do you perceive this kind of the phenomenon and the future legal recourse?
Yes, sir. Sir, I believe that this topic, now that it is being discussed, itself is a huge progress being done in this aspect, and I'm sure that there will be legal provisions put in place, because such an act should not be supported.
For example, let's say hypothetical situation, there is an act which criminalizes marital rape. Don't you think so like it would impact the family system per se in India?
Sir, while the objective should be to punish, I believe that such an act should also keep in place some aspects for reformation, so that there is counseling done and the family system doesn't take a huge setback.
Are you aware of like all the 50 states in the United States of America? They have they have come up with the legislations and criminalizing the marital rape. Yes or no?
No, sir, I was not.
You
aware.
are not aware of that. Fine. Are you aware of the doctrine of coverture? Coverture?
No, sir.
Not an issue. Article 50 of Indian Constitution, what it suggests?
Article 15 suggests that there should be no discrimination on the grounds of place of birth, sex, religion, caste.
Fine. Article 50, 50?
Article 50.
50?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recollect. No, 51 is fundamental. Sorry,
not
sir.
An issue, not an issue, sir.
Priyamvada, you have mentioned in your DAF that your place of birth is Ratnagiri.
Yes, sir.
So, can you name the unique variety of mango that is produced there?
Yes, sir. It is called as Alfonso mango, which in Marathi is also called as Hapus.
Okay. So, how was this Alfonso, named?
Sir, it was named after the Portuguese administrator Alfonso Albuquerque. I'm not sure of the pronunciation, who popularized this variety in the Konkan belt.
Okay. So, your hobby is portrait sketch. Okay. So, can you draw a sketch of all the members?
Yes, sir, but I will take some time.
So, how much time will it take?
So, usually I have done single portraits and not a large group. Usually for a very rough sketch, around 15 to 20 minutes, but for a detailed sketch with pencil shading, an hour or so. And I have many a times done this when there were chief guests which were invited in IIM Bangalore, for example. And I have done portraits, and as a memento and a vote of thanks, we have handed over these portraits.
Okay. As you are from Maharashtra, what kind of soil is found in Maharashtra?
Black soil is famous in the Marathwada region, which is used for cotton and sugarcane
Right.
cultivation.
How it originated basically.
This was because of the Deccan Plateau. Sorry, sir, I'm.
Okay. So are you aware of the India Out campaign that is going on in Maldives, and what are the reasons for the same?
I'm aware of this campaign, but I'm sorry, I'm not able to pinpoint on the reasons.
Okay. My last question. See, India and United Kingdom, so they are actually coming closer in defense and economic areas. So in the context of this, Argentina is also under process to raise a decolonization issue with India and to leverage India's position or India's relationship with United Kingdom to raise a issue of decolonization. Are you aware of that issue?
No, sir. Sorry, sir. I'm not aware.
Okay.
Priyamvada, imagine a situation where instead of politicians getting elected by people, the country is run as a corporate company, where instead of voting, UPSC type examination for politicians too, promotion is based on performance. Prime Minister acts like a CEO of the country. Will that usher in an era of rapid socio-economic development in the country?
While I believe such a system will bring in some steps towards efficiency, but we will be losing out on democracy and the people's voice, which is the essence of how India is developing. So
you recommend or you don't recommend?
Sir, I wouldn't recommend.
You won't recommend. So one last question before we let you go. Do you watch television shows?
Not much, sir.
Not much. Have you ever heard of a television show called Shark Tank India?
Yes, sir.
Have you watched that?
Shark Tank India I have not watched. I had watched a few episodes of Shark Tank US many years back.
So what is the message that conveys to the youth of the country?
Sir, as a concept, it is promoting startup culture, and so I feel that it is promoting the youth. It is telling the youth
what youth of the country should gain from those shows. Youth, if you have to start up a company, if you want to become an entrepreneur, what qualities you should have before you go ahead with such an enterprise?
Yes, sir. The shows like this help to tell that you need qualities where how to sell your product and what should be valuation of your company, how to manage the finances of a company is something that the youth can learn from such a show.
Okay, thank you very much, Priyamvada. Your interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sit, Priyamvada.
Yes, sir.
So, how was your experience, Priyamvada?
Sir, it was a good experience, lot of learning from this interview. I have identified some areas I need to brush up on some content so that I don't miss out the obvious questions. I feel that I should do more structuring in my answers so that I'm immediately able to highlight 2-3 points and not make long sentences.
Exactly. I think you have correctly understood our point of view also. So when is your interview?
19th May.
19th. A lot of time is there. This is your first attempt at the UPSC?
Yeah, technically my first, because the first I had just registered when I just started my preparation. So that prelim I did not qualify.
Okay. So the first serious attempt, so
first
to say.
Serious attempt.
Okay. You see, you are a wonderful candidate for the civil services.
Thank you, sir.
And your interview has gone off very well. So I will rate it in the category of excellent.
Thank you, sir.
With those words, let me give you details of our impression, that so as to, it will help you in enhancing your performance when you go for the final interview. As you have rightly mentioned, try to be very specific, precise, to the point, and for your point of view should be very clear and very succinct. So you are able to structure your sentences, not that. But there are occasions where something you have to restrict beyond a point.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you are a very natural person, I mean, all the qualities that a person of integrity or a person of integrity with a positive body language. You are not generally argumentative with the board members and all that. You never ever pick up quarrel when you go for the interview on any emotional issues. Even if it comes to your state, comes to your caste, comes to anything. Maintain your cool and composure, your calm. That is what is required. Your strict neutrality has to be maintained. That is any political question is posed before you, maintain a strict neutrality. Don't take a particular point of view unnecessarily when it is not required. With those words, I think the initial questions, because your father's name is there with your name, Ashok, I believe is the father's name. No? So you prepare more on Ashoka.
Yes, sir.
Because you are coming from the financial sector, so you should not be found wanting in this area.
Yes, sir.
So you should prepare more on Ashoka, and you have claimed to be knowing languages. You have a natural flair to learn new languages.
Yes, sir.
So Indo-Aryan languages is a part of that only. So what are Indo-Aryan languages? And because we are Indians, we should be aware of what are languages falling in the category of Indo-Aryan languages. Sociological theories, and I think you read whatever time you have there. In the international relations area, I think on the issue of Maldives.
Maldives, yes, sir.
I think you have to brush up your knowledge. That will help you. And more importantly, you see you have experience of working in the CSR activities also. So we are presuming that you may be asked questions on CSR also.
Okay, sir.
So what is the essence of CSR? Which areas the funds are getting spent? What is your thinking? Should the ambit of the CSR be increased? Should it be used for political activities also or not? So those questions you should anticipate may be asked.
Okay, sir.
And then on whistleblower and all, your answer was by and large okay. But then I think on CSR there are two reports also. One is that of Narayan Murthy Sahib and another is that of Mr. Uday Kotak. Mr. Uday Kotak's report is, committee's report is a recent one. Take out some time to go through this committee report and jot down the main recommendations. So that if at all a question is asked on CSR, you are fully prepared to answer all that. Last question, whether the country should be run on corporate lines or not. So specific, I said whether you agree or not. You said I would not agree. You try to be slightly more practical and more diplomatic, because that was an area thrown at you, how the country's governance is changing now.
Yes, sir.
There is a perception emerging the country is also. So there is a concept of your lateral entry into the services. So you can, instead of saying I would not, you say so there are some good points in the working of private sector also. So good points of corporate culture can be brought into the working of government sector, and then with the existing system itself, without changing the system per se, I think the system can run more efficiently, more smoothly. That kind of thing. I mean, you form up your mind if this kind of question at all is asked.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Otherwise, you are a very good candidate, and with your qualities of head and heart, you will be getting very good score in the interview. We will not be surprised if you are in the range of 200 or so.
Thank you, sir.
So, wish you all the best. You have done really well in the written sociology paper.
Yes,
you will be getting very good marks, and you will be ranking very high in the list.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
All the best.
Thanks
to you.
a lot.
All the best.
Thank you. Thanks.